Hi friends, it's Grace and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about just a few of my most anticipated book releases for 2023. So at the time that I'm filming this, one of these books comes out quite soon, but I did make my cutoff for this video like books that haven't been released yet at the time of my filming this. There are some books that I'm really looking forward to reading that were published this year but have already been published. To be honest, it seems like there was quite the flurry of like exciting new publications at the beginning of the year, but I'm just gonna focus on like the next few months and literally just a few things that I'm the most excited about. So like I mentioned, one of these actually comes out on February 28th. So by the time you see this video, this book will most likely be published. However, that is The Adventures of Amina al-Sarfi by S.A. Chakraborty, or I think she might be going by Shannon Chakraborty on this book. At least that's what I thought. However, it's not listed that way on Goodreads, so now I'm not entirely sure. But the reason that I put this on my most anticipated right now is because I was interested in it before, but I had not read anything from her, so I really wasn't sure. I just knew that it sounded cool, but now that I've read The City of Brass and loved it, I know that it is like one of my most anticipated just because I'm really excited to see what else she will do. So The Adventures of Amina al-Sarfi follows our character by that same name who has experienced this notorious career as a pirate and had a lot of adventures and everything like that, but has retired to a quiet life. It mentions motherhood, and I think that Amina al-Sarfi kind of lived life and then was ready to settle down. However, in this book, she is offered one last job, one last adventure to basically save a friend's daughter in return for quite a handsome sum of money. And so she wants to accept, and it seems like an easy decision, but it seems like the more she learns, the more she realizes that there was definitely more to this job than meets the eye, and there's mysteries to be revealed and adventures to be had, and who knows what will happen. So this sounds really, really fun. It sounds like it could be a really wild ride, but based on the characters that I read in City of Brass, it seems like that's also a strength of hers. And so I think that this notorious career pirate character could be a really, really cool main character to follow, and I think that it sounds awesome. Now, the second book that I have on this list is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, and arguably this book is already published. Objectively, it is out in the world. However, I am not someone who did the Kickstarter or received any type of early copy of this book. So as far as I'm concerned, it is published on April 4th, 2023 in Canada. And so that's what I'm going by, and if I pre-order it, that's when I'm gonna receive it, so that's the deal. Now, Brandon Sanderson is, of course, very popular, and I'm sure that a lot of people have already heard about this book. And one of the things that intrigues me most about it is that it's a standalone in the Cosmere, and it is supposed to be quite different. So I'm very intrigued to see what that looks like for him. And this book is about Tress. She lives a simple life on the Emerald Sea, and she has a friend named Charlie, and Charlie's father takes him away on this journey to hopefully find him a wife or a bride, and disaster of some kind strikes them. I'm not sure what that is. The synopsis is not very clear about it. However, whatever it is that happens here, it is the inciting incident for Tress to have to leave the Emerald Sea and set out to try and find a sorceress of the Midnight Sea, which I assume the different seas are different regions of this world. And so this is sort of a quest and a goal that Tress is setting out to achieve over the course of the book. And I really like travel stories. I really like quest fantasy. I really like Brandon Sanderson, even though it's been a while now since I've read one of his books. I adored what I read of the Cosmere for the most part, and so I'm really excited to try this, and it does have generally positive reviews from people so far, so that does make me look forward to it even more. Next up, we have Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee, and this book is being released on April 11th, 2023, and I am super happy because I actually have an ARC of this from NetGalley, so I do plan to read this in March, and I do plan to do a review of this book, and I love Fonda Lee. Like, the Greenbone Saga is one of my favorite series of all time, which is why I'm so highly anticipating this new release from her. So the basic idea here is that most of our main character, I believe her name is Esther's family, is killed by a manticore, and it leaves her and her father, and they are kind of living in this like solitary existence where she is just consumed by the desire for revenge on this manticore that took her mother and siblings from her. And so Esther travels to something called the King's Royal Muse to become essentially a rider of these creatures called rocks. And I think that this is probably the massive bird that's depicted on the cover of the book. And so she learns to ride a rock and to become like one of the infamous order of manticore hunters, essentially. And so she goes on this hunt, and it seems like from there is the start of an adventure, but it requires a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice. It's this very intense and yet unsettling relationship between her and a creature that it says can never love her. So it's not like a partnership in that sense. And so I'm really, really interested in what Fonda Lee is gonna do with this idea, and I'm just really looking forward to this and really happy that I'm going to be able to read it quite soon. Now, the final book on this list for now is probably my most anticipated, and it's not last because it's most anticipated. It is last because unfortunately I am going to have to wait the longest for it by a good margin, and that is because Labyrinths Heart by M.A. Carrick, which is the finale to the Rook and Rose trilogy, is being released on August 17th, 2023. So at this point, I still have about 6 more months to wait, but I cannot. Like, I loved the first 2 books in the Rook and Rose trilogy so much, and there is a relatively vague synopsis currently on Goodreads for this one, and it's also the finale of a series, so it kind of just mentions how our main character Ren is struggling to balance her identities, and like a few of our main characters have helped unleash this dark magic around the city that they live in, and they are ultimately trying to stop it and find a way to keep their world as they know it from crumbling based on the events that have been set in action throughout the series so far. And it is so rich, like so complex in the magic system, and the characters are phenomenal, and it definitely also has the potential to be one of my favorite series. I think it probably already is, but I tend to reserve that honor for when I finish something, just because you never really know how the ending can go. However, yeah, I am like 10 out of 10, 100% excited for Labyrinths Heart. And I'm sure there are more books coming out later in the year, so I might do another installment of this video a little bit later. But these are some of the ones that are coming out a little bit sooner, and Labyrinths Heart is one I already knew I had my eye on. So I just wanted to share them with you, and you should definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you have some like releases that are coming up soon in 2023 that you either like are anticipating yourself or that you think that I might enjoy as well, please do let me know. And that is it for this one. That's all I have, is those 4 books. But like I said, hopefully I will make another one of these later on in the year. So please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. I post new videos on most Mondays and Thursdays whenever I can. And as always, I will have my joint Discord with Ben and my socials linked in the description below if you're interested in any of that stuff. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!